Welcome to the College of Education 10-Minute Research Break, a podcast devoted to highlighting research by Illinois State University's College of Education, faculty, staff, and students. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and take a break with us.
Hi, I'm Tricia Class, and today I'm talking with Stacy Kelly, Assistant Professor in the Special Education Department. She teaches classes in low vision and blindness. The article we will discuss today is featured in a special theme issue of the Journal of Visual Impairment and Blindness called Technology, Today's Game Changer. Welcome, Kelly, and thank you for talking to me about your article. So what I'd like to know from you is if you could discuss what the literature says about the use of the Internet by youth with visual impairments and how your study addresses some of these research gaps.
Okay, well, I'd like to start by explaining that there is a lot of research out there on the use of technology in accessing the internet by people without disabilities in the U.S. In a recent September 2009 survey, the Pew researchers actually found that 93% of American teenagers without disabilities were using the internet. Although there is a lot of literature out there on the use of technology in accessing the internet by people without disabilities in the U.S., the opposite is true about the use of technology and internet access by people with disabilities. And notably absent from this mix is published documentation on the use of technology by youths with visual impairment. When such published information is available about the use of technology and the internet by children, youth, and adults with disabilities, it tends to actually be less current, and it also tends to be generic when compared to similar information about people without disabilities. For example, in an online article for its Digital Divide section, the Pew Research Center reported that only 54% of Americans with disabilities use the internet. However, these data were only reported for adults, and the majority of whom were age 50 or older. No comparable data were provided for teenagers with disabilities, and this data was not disability specific. So reports specific to the use of technology to access the internet by adults with visual impairments and youth with visual impairments in the U.S. are both rare and dated. How my study addressed some of these research gaps is that the present study that we're talking about today took a look at the degree to which transition-age youths with visual impairments have used the internet and what outcomes they have achieved following their graduation from high school.
Then in your methods section, you noted that you were able to use a large national data set to conduct a secondary analysis, and that this created some benefits for you as well as some limitations. Could you please talk about these issues?
I'd be glad to. The source of data for our study was the National Longitudinal Transition Study 2, or for short, the NLTS-2. It's a federal database. The NLTS-2 sample was nationally representative of each federal disability category, and this included low vision and blindness. So it's highly unusual to have a sample size this large when doing an analysis on youth with visual impairments, and we had that. A strength and weakness of our study was that it was a secondary analysis of an existing federal database that included a nationally representative sample with many different disability types, not just visual impairments. We had to work with the methods that were already in place, and we were unable to adjust anything about the broad survey design or methods of implementing the survey. We were able to parcel out data that was specific to students with visual impairments from the broader NLTS-2 data that were collected. For example, the technology outcome that was selected for the study was representative of both mainstream technology and assistive technology. It was likely that for the youths who were visually impaired to access the internet for online communication, that they were also using assistive technology such as screen reading software or screen enlargement software, commonly used by people who are blind or have low vision. This indirect measure of the use of assistive technology was intended to be an underlying aspect of the study, since the actual assistive technology the youths used to access for the internet was not directly assessed by the survey. So that's just one example of how we had to work with the questions that were already asked of the participants in the study.
Yes, to get a national sample is amazing, so that's really great.
Thank you.
Based on this national sample, you had some very interesting results on, one, the use of the internet over time by the youth, but also by their outcomes after school. And can you explain both of those?
I'd be glad to. The descriptive analysis, the first question that you referred to, showed estimates of the internet use among youths with visual impairments during 3 time periods, specifically 2005, 2007, and 2009. Then we looked at multi-level longitudinal modeling that was used to analyze the change in the prevalence of internet use as the youths with visual impairments matured, and we also assessed the impact of post-secondary opportunities on online communication. The results of these analyses were that across the 3 waves of data collection, on average, only 43% of the transition age youth with visual impairments use the internet regularly for online communication. There was no significant change in the use of the internet as these young people matured. However, we did find some significant outcomes related to their involvement in post-secondary life. The youths who used the internet for regular online communication were significantly more likely to be engaged in post-secondary work, education or training, or volunteering and engaging in community service.
And given that and the impact of that, what were some of your conclusions and implications for teachers of these students with visual impairments?
We were pleased to find that this study showed that transition age youths with visual impairments, unfortunately, were not progressing at rates commensurate with their peers without disabilities in the vital age of internet use. Their best performance of youth with visual impairments was in Wave 5, when 49% of youth with visual impairments were found to be using the internet regularly for online communication, compared to 93% of youths without disabilities in the exact same year. The positive impact, however, of participation in post-secondary opportunities on the likelihood of online connectivity was demonstrated as well. What does this mean for the field of blindness and visual impairments? That preparation for today's workforce in higher education classrooms actually necessitates training with the internet and widely used high technology tools. For youth with visual impairments, this preparation also includes training with assistive technology, such as state-of-the-art software or devices that can make visual text instantly accessible to people who are blind or have low vision in a variety of formats. It also means that confidence and skill in the use of technology and accessing the internet are important for people who are visually impaired to participate in today's technology-based society. Teachers, practitioners, and the like will want to encourage youth with visual impairments to use technology, including assistive technology, to go online so that they can communicate effectively with their same age peers for socialization purposes.
I assumed more students had this in their classrooms, but some of them aren't getting access to using technology in their K-12 education.
What the data shows is that this is also aligned with prior research, that even though there is technology available in the classrooms, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's adapted in a way for a child who's blind or low vision to be able to hop on the whatever device it is and follow along with their same age sighted peers. It also means that more training is needed in the area of personnel preparation so that teachers can go into the classrooms, teachers of students with visual impairments, that is, armed with the knowledge necessary. There's a lot of challenges that underlie effective implementation of providing a student who's blind or low vision with what they need in this day and age.
Okay. Yeah, that was very interesting. I was surprised by the low use, given that I would almost assume it was in the classroom, but it's that adaptation and training of the teachers.
Along with many other challenges.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. This was really interesting, and I encourage others to read your article. So thank you.
Thank you.
The full citation for today's article is Kelly and Wolf, 2012, Internet Use of Transitioned Aged Youth with Visual Impairments in the United States. Assessing the Impact of Post-Secondary Predictors, Journal of Visual Impairments and Blindness, the Special Issue on Technology, Volume 106, pages 597 to 608. The citation can also be found at the website coe.ilstu.edu/research/podcasts. Please join us for future Research Break podcasts.
This podcast is sponsored by Illinois State University's College of Education, where we strive to assure that all students realize the democratic ideal through our teaching, research, and service to the field of education.